to long-term employees, and a fair amount are taking advantage of it. And where they would have stayed 40 years, they'll only stay 30. And so they are dropping personnel that way. These are permanent people. And that allows the temporary people to move up into permanent positions, but at a pay rate which is lower than what the older employees had. And so the post office has been doing the best it can to cut back. In the big cities, one of the major problems is they just don't want to cut back. Miami, Chicago, New York, L.A., San Francisco, places like that, and a lot of it is because they have a lot of minorities in the post offices. Like in L.A., about 10% of the employees are Anglos, and the rest are either Latin Americans or Latinos, if you may, and black people. And they're very reticent to lay off in those areas because they don't want to see them without jobs. But I think they're doing the best they can. It's certainly not an overloaded situation.
Well, you know what, Bob? They raised the rates and postage for registered and insured mail this month. They didn't do it for stamps, but they did it for that type of shipping and for packages. And Mike's shipping costs are just, it's just incredible how fast they've gone up. I remember, 5 coins cost $10. Now a minimum is 30. And so, we're going to have to change our costs, too, because things just continue to rise at a rapid pace. But you know what, Bob? You look at a lot of these companies and these, these manufacturers, they have all these excess of employees where, yes, and I'm not bashing any hardworking employee out there. But you know what? The Americans have gotten soft in their work habits, and they don't want to work hard anymore. So what used to be one person's job, now you have 2 or 3 people doing it. So, it's just poor management in a lot of these firms. And don't you think?
Well, the poor management forces medium-sized and smaller firms out of business. But what we've got going on in Washington now, all the incompetence or the planned destruction, those people are rewarded by our government going in and bailing them out.
Yep. The World Economic Forum has gotten underway in Davos, Switzerland, as the IMF projected global growth is set to fall to its lowest pace in 6 decades. What may be their modus operandi?
I don't understand the question.
What may be their... that's just what he wrote. The World Economic Forum has started their Davos. What do you think of their... of the Davos meeting this year?
Well, nothing yet because not an awful lot has come out. It started today. Mm-hmm. You're going to get the same old, quote, party line. And it's not a party, it's an Illuminati line. And, that's what you're going to get. And most of the people there are politicians. It's turned into a Bilderberger meeting that's not secret. Of course, many of the talks and conferences are secret, but it's just another, elitist meeting place. And a lot of the people from the big banks and on Wall Street and things like that are not participating, and the reason they're not is they don't want to be seen to be spending a lot of money when their firms are losing money, like Citigroup and so on. And these kinds of meetings, they go on all the time. You just don't hear about them. And so we'll see what's coming out of there. I think the agenda is going to be, and I haven't heard really anybody speak yet. I think the agenda is going to be we need international financial regulation and we need a one-world currency. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what they're after now. And we got to stop them. And we do that by informing people and saying, look, do you want somebody in Brussels telling you what to do? Do you want to have a currency called the zloty or the dolt or a rothy or something like that? No, I don't think you do. You know, anybody that has a currency that belongs to another grouping or country loses their sovereignty. Remember that. So if you have this new international unit called the Big Red One, then you've lost your sovereignty if you live in Colombia or Uruguay or Mexico or the United States. Because you're run by money, and that money is being run by people who want to do what they want to do to you because they think that they know better what's good for you.
Just a question. I've got several. Currently, people do not, he wants me to read this to you. Currently, people do not have or are unwilling to spend money to cause the price of goods and services to rise. The public is stung by the non-relief from the first $350 billion. People didn't even get a stimulus check out of it. Even if Geithner decided to drop confetti dollars from helicopters, the people are not going to spend it. The crooks in Washington waited too long to hand out their monopoly money. They got too busy taking care of their own first. The current fear of job loss, house foreclosure, credit card bills, loss of health care coverage, etc., has caused a black cloud of paranoia. When people are fearful of the future, they stop spending. The roots of this fear have grown deep. Even if food prices soar, obese Americans will just go on a diet. My point is, deflation is going to happen first. Will this deflationary time lead to a hyperinflationary period, or will we just stay in the 1930s style depression waiting for World War III? That's Mick.
Well, Mick, we're going to have inflation first, and it's going to start again above 10%, where it's at now. Came down from 13 5/8%. And it's going to go on for 2-3 years. I don't know. And all of a sudden, they won't be able to make it work anymore. See, they're in a liquidity trap. The money's there, but it's not reaching, as you said, the consumer. And they're too worried about big business, transnational corporations, and the banks and insurance companies, and Wall Street. And so they've missed the point. Well, they really haven't, because all they want to do is save themselves and could care less about you. And so we're going to have hyperinflation, and then we're going to have deflation and depression, and it's going to go on for years. And that's the way it's going to be. And let me tell you something. And incidentally, gold's going to be up tomorrow. And I told you why it was down the last 2 days. So we're going to get a rally tomorrow. So if you're going to buy some coins, you better do it today before the prices go up. The problem that they face is that they have deliberately destroyed the industrial nucleus of the United States. They are in the process of destroying the financial structure, which, of course, is going to affect the entire world. Everybody's going to have problems. They already are. And that is going to lead to what they would like to do, the implementation of world government, the world currency. I don't think it's going to happen, because I think we'll probably have revolution before that. And there's no way around it. I mean, all the avenues that we've taken within the law have proved to be fruitless. The people who run things, they own Congress. They own the White House. They own the court system. And they have war on demand. So your children and grandchildren go off and get murdered. I mean, can you imagine right now, over in Iraq and Afghanistan, we have people who are on their fourth tour of duty. I mean, that's a little much, isn't it? I read in the paper every day of people going insane and killing themselves or getting killed in their third or fourth tour of duty. So sooner or later, because of these uprisings, demonstrations that lead to violence, in all countries, you'll have a third world war. And this is what